Christmas crack. Have you ever seen this stuff? Christmas crack. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna show you how to make Christmas crack. So welcome to Vlogmas, y'all. Today's video is super special and I am so excited I can barely contain myself. Y'all, I have some things that I just love to make at the holidays. It's tradition in our house. It's just what we do, and I know every family is the same. It's just, you know, you have your things. But I've already shown you how to make scrumptious pie, which is on our list. I showed you a little quick snippet of nuts and bolts. Brecken and I made nuts and bolts while we were putting up the tree, but in today's Vlogmas video, we are talking about my absolute have to have it. I'm obsessed. I'm addicted to this holiday sweet treat. I cannot stay out of this stuff. And you know what it's called? It's Christmas crack. Literally, it's crack, y'all. It is the one sweet treat in all of the world that I cannot stay out of. We call it Christmas crack. Some people call it saltine cracker toffee or just cracker toffee. It truly is a saltine cracker that is covered in homemade caramel, and the caramel seeps and soaks down into those saltine crackers, and then you cover it with chocolate and goodies, and you pop it in the fridge, get it hard, and break it up, and it is like nothing you've ever had. If you didn't know that there was a cracker in there when you ate it, you would never know there's a cracker in there. So crispy. I made a batch of that yesterday and I have not been able to stay out of it. I truly am obsessed with Christmas crack. I'm going to tell you the story of how I discovered Christmas crack, how I became addicted to Christmas crack, and then I'm going to show you all the ingredients you need to make Christmas crack. The ingredients honestly are pretty simple. You probably have this stuff in your kitchen. So here's what you need. You need a box of saltine crackers, 2 sticks of unsalted butter. Now I prefer unsalted because the crackers have salt on them, and to me salted butter is just a little bit too salty, but that's totally up to you. You need light brown sugar. Everybody's got light brown sugar, right? You need light brown sugar. You need chocolate chips. I prefer milk chocolate, but you can totally use semi-sweet. You can use dark chocolate, whatever suits you, but I'm gonna be using milk chocolate chips. And then on top of your crack, honestly, oh my gosh, the possibilities are endless. My favorite topping is this little mixed nuts, but you could use pecans or almonds. You could do crushed peppermint. You could do Heath bar, pistachios, anything that suits you. So just think about what you want your topping to be and have that at the ready. I'm gonna be using mixed nuts. You do need a can of just cooking spray and some aluminum foil. You're also gonna need a saucepan and a silicone spatula or spoon. It doesn't matter. We're going to be making our kind of caramel in this, but make sure it has a long handle, not a short stubby handle, because we do have to stir the caramel as it's boiling, and if your spoon is too short, it gets really, really hot on your hand. So I always get out my long handle, and it doesn't have to be coated in silicone. It can be a wooden spoon. It can be lots of things. You just want to make sure that it has a long handle, and I prefer silicone. And you're gonna need a big old honking sheet pan. You wanna make sure that your sheet pan has a lip on it. It's not flat because you don't want your caramel to slide off. You want a lip on your sheet pan. And that's it. How easy was that? It's a good thing that I can edit videos because I had a little snafu at the ice cream shop. Couldn't finish my original video. So now it's a different day, different hairdo, and a different shirt. I'm so sorry. Now we're gonna make Christmas crack. And I wanna add a side note here. Christmas crack is very easy to make, super simple to make, but you can't skip any of the steps. If you do, your crack is not gonna come out right. So I'm gonna walk you through this. I'm gonna explain exactly what I'm doing, and just please, when you make it yourself at home, don't skip any steps. So the first thing you wanna do is have your oven preheated to 400 degrees. It is super important that your oven is preheated and ready for you. The next thing you want to do is take that big sheet pan I told you needed and line it with aluminum foil, and make sure that your corners are all tucked down really nice, your edges are tucked in. You don't want your caramel to seep underneath the foil and get underneath the Christmas crack. So just get it all tucked in good and nice, just like that. You want to take some cooking spray and just very lightly Spray your aluminum foil. If you don't do this, you will not be able to get your Christmas crack off of this foil. It's going to stick to it. Take your saltine crackers, and you're going to need about 2 sleeves of crackers. Line your crackers up on the pan. Make sure they're, everything is tight. Don't overlap your crackers. You want a single layer. If you have any broken crackers in your sleeve, try to avoid using those, because if you do, it's going to be really hard to spread your caramel because your broken crackers are going to get mixed up in the caramel. So just put these aside. Kind of like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. Okay, so all my crackers are covering my sheet pan. Nobody's overlapping, and they're all nice and neat and touching. So I'm going to let my sheet pan just sit right here, and I'm going to head over to my stove to make the caramel. So in your saucepan on the stove, you want to add 2 sticks of butter, and this is a total, a stick is a half a cup, so you want a total of 1 stick of butter. And I've got a cold pan right here. It's not on. And I want 1 cup of brown sugar. Turn your heat on medium and just let the butter melt. Let the sugar melt until everything is incorporated. And this is where you need your long handled spoon. So I'm just gonna keep an eye on it here. As your sticks of butter start to melt, just move them around and incorporate that brown sugar into the melted butter. It's getting all melty, but we're not there yet. I need my butter to be completely melted before we move on to the next step. My butter is completely melted and my brown sugar is incorporated. I want to turn my heat up almost on high, and I want to bring this to a roaring boil. And I'll show you what I mean by roaring boil. You don't have to aggressively stir this, just keep it moving. That's why you need this long handle spoon. And this is a very important step. Super duper important that you get this step right. You see it starting to bubble around the edges? That is not a boil. Keep going. Still not a boil. And during this process, you're going to see the butter separate from the brown sugar. That's perfectly normal. See how it's bubbling on the edges? Just keep going. Now we're starting to get bubbles in the middle. See, we're getting ready to boil here. Okay, see this little bit of foam we're starting to get in the pan? That is what you want. It's going to foam up. So this is a roaring boil. When you see the foam, your whole pan is bubbling, and then you want to start your timer right now for 3 minutes. You want to stir, and you want it to boil for 3 continuous minutes. Just slowly keep it moving, but don't stop stirring. And it's going to foam up and look all weird and crazy, but this is exactly what you want. And then at the end of the 3 minutes, we need our pan with our crackers at the ready, because we have to act fast. So you'll notice it starts to thicken up and feel just a little gooey. That's what you're looking for. Oh, we got 1 minute left. So I got my pan of crackers on the stove right here. I did get out a silicone, like flat end little blade. I forgot to tell you all about this. You can use your spoon if you need to, but I'm gonna use this. See what this looks like? Keep it moving. It's gotta be a full 3 minutes. Okay, turn off your heat. Bring in your crackers, and this is when you see my caramel. Pour the caramel over your crackers, and don't worry about having gaps. We're going to spread this out, but you got to act fast because your caramel is going to start to harden up. So just spread it. Oh man, over the crackers. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So all of my crackers are covered in caramel, and then you want to put your sheet pan in your oven for 5 minutes. Okay, so that was the tricky part. From here, it's smooth sailing. So while your Christmas crack is in the oven for 5 minutes, go on and get out your chocolate chips and your nuts or any of your toppings and have them beside your stovetop. Because again, we have to act kind of fast and you want to be ready. So, funny story. I came in here to get my chocolate chips. I told you I was going to use milk chocolate chips and realized that Randy made cookie bars the other day and used all of my chocolate chips. So now, today, I'm using semi-sweet. But it totally doesn't matter. You can use whatever you like. And I'm still going to need my flat spatula to spread out my chocolate, so keep that handy too. But while my crackers are in the oven for 5 minutes, I'm going to go back to stuff I recorded the other day and tell you about how I discovered Christmas crack and how I became obsessed with Christmas crack. So I'll see you back here. We're going to get out our crack and finish it up. So let me tell you the story behind how I discovered Christmas crack. It was, gosh, probably 15 years ago now, and I used to have a little side hustle business. I had a Cricut, and I used to cut things out and decorate Christmas ornaments and drink tumblers and gift bags and all these things. And Randy and I went to kind of a high-end upscale Christmas market. It was in Lexington, Kentucky. It was inside of an old Victorian home, and vendors set up their little booths and they sold stuff for Christmas. So I was there, and because the event was really nice, they had a caterer who was walking around serving little sandwiches to people because you had to pay to come in this market. And they were serving sandwiches and treats and drinks and all this stuff. And this lady was walking around with this stuff. And I had some, and I was like, wow, that is really good. And Randy had some, and he's like, whoa, this is good. And he came over to my booth because he was off talking to people as usual, and he brought me some of this on a little napkin and said, you have got to try this. And I said, I have already had it. What the heck is this stuff? We didn't realize that the woman walking around with all these trays was like a caterer. We thought she was somebody who had a booth at this holiday market who was walking around giving out samples of products she was selling. So Randy went and found this woman and said, where's your booth? We want to buy some of this. And she laughed and she said, I don't have a booth. I'm the caterer. I made this. Randy came back and told me that, and I went and tracked down this woman and asked her, what the heck is this? Does she have a recipe, and will she share it with me? My mind has been blown ever since. If you're looking in your oven at your toffee right now, I have 1 minute left. You should see little bubbles on the top of your toffee. It's just simmering away, and we wait for 5 full minutes. Oh, see how it's bubbly, and you notice it's loosey-goosey on your pan. So put it on your stovetop because it is hot, and take 1 cup of chocolate chips or more and just sprinkle on the top. I'm actually going to add just a little bit more. You don't want to cover it, but you want a good amount on there. So that was honestly about a cup and a half. And just let it sit. Don't touch it for about 3 minutes. I know it's tempting at this point. You're dying to touch those chocolate chips, but don't do it. Let it sit. Let the chocolate chips melt, and then we're going to spread them out. And you can tell when your chocolate chips start to melt because they get glossy and shiny. I have a section over here where mine are not melty yet. So after 3 minutes, if you touch your chocolate chips, they should be good and melty where you can smear them. So you just want to hold on to your pan. Make sure you have on a glove because your pan is still going to be really hot. And just smear the chips. But be careful not to disturb the crackers underneath. And the point is to get a layer of chocolate on all the crackers. You can take your time. There's no rush here. So after your crackers are completely covered in chocolate, then you can sprinkle on any toppings that you want. I'm going to use the mixed nuts. And just put how much you like. So our crack is basically finished. It looks like that, but it's hot, right? Let your Christmas crack set out for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we're gonna put it in the refrigerator and let it harden up. You just don't wanna put something this hot in your fridge, so I always let mine sit out, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. Let it cool down, let your pan cool down, and then you're gonna put it in your refrigerator for several hours. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll meet you back here later today, and we're gonna crack up our crack, and we're gonna put it in some gift boxes because I'm gonna give Christmas crack to all the kids that work for me at Craving the Curls. So my Christmas crack has been in the refrigerator about 3 hours, and so I'm dying to eat some. But I'm gonna get it out, crack the crack, and I'm gonna put it in these cute little gift boxes to give to all the kids at Craving the Curls. Y'all, I am so excited to have some of this. This is the trick. Let me show you how to get your crack off of the foil and out of the pan without causing a huge mess. So all you wanna do is unwrap the edges of your foil from your pan. You could lift your Christmas crack out just like that. And then put your hands under the foil and just crack the crack. That's all you have to do. Crack the crack. Imperfect pieces of crack. That's exactly what you want. If we had not sprayed our foil, the crack would be stuck to the foil and you would never get it loose. But now, see how it just pops up in little pieces. I know that I made this for gifts, but I cannot help myself. So good. And I have to make a whole nother pan of Christmas crack because I have a bunch of employees and one pan is not gonna get it. Plus, I gotta have some for myself, right? Go make the crack. Perfect. I just put a little wax paper inside of these cute little Chinese food boxes and it makes the cutest Christmas gift. See you tomorrow in another Vlogmas video.